Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Welcome back to another episode of the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. I discovered a fact the other day that there are 54 million freelancers in America alone. And it's becoming more crucial than ever before for businesses to keep up in an environment that can evolve with the fluctuation of the gig economy. How can companies take on these non-contracted employees without consequence? As technology and new work structures and practices enable people not to be chained to a job, desk, city, or even region, it's clear something's got to change because everything's all on demand now. One of the trends that I've noticed is the rise in flexible workspace. Businesses are now afforded the luxury of hiring talented freelancers without the risk of paying for an empty seat if the company needs to scale back or allot for additional space. And this led me to a company called Servcorp, and they're the leading provider in luxury shared workspace. But what I learned, that even a small startup can have a private office at the World Trade Center in Manhattan for $1,000 a month, and a virtual office package for as little as $500. So I had to find out more about this latest trend and how startups, entrepreneurs and freelancers, as well as big corporations, are making the most of it. So buckle up, hold on tight, because I'm going to beam your ears all the way to the US, where Marcus, the COO of Servcorp, is waiting to speak with us. So a massive warm welcome to the show, Marcus. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Sure, and thank you. My name's Marcus Mafarage. I'm Servcorp's Chief Operating Officer. Servcorp work in flexible workspace, and where the premium brand, I guess, is how we would put it. But we've been working in this space, so that's virtual offices, co-working, and executive office suites for about 40 years. The business was founded in 1978. And we're kind of experiencing a bit of change in our industry, which is really going from us being a niche, being the premium brand in executive office space, in a niche market, to being a niche, being the premium brand in a more mainstream market, as we see our industry changing a little bit. We've focused a lot on building pretty fantastic technology platforms, and choosing unique locations in terms of high-rise glass buildings all around the world for Servcorp's locations, and really focused on giving our customers the tools they need to make their business successful. So that's sort of where we're positioned in the marketplace. We run all 150 floors that we have around the world in 24 countries like they're one building on one database with one phone system.
Wow. I mean, you mentioned a change in the industry there, and I read recently that there are currently 54 million freelancers in the US alone. So it's fair to say that the gig economy is something very real. And we often hear about how technology is affecting job roles, but it's our workspace that's now evolving too. So can you tell me more about how you're seeing that traditional office space and how it's evolving?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I think the gig economy is making a change in behaviour, and it is kind of funny having been in the business for 40 years and having been expressing this message that it doesn't have to be about 5 and 10 year leases, and it doesn't have to be about hiring a heavy burden of staff on your business. It can be about being flexible, and it can be on demand, and so we've been providing that for quite a long time. But the reality is that the mindset, and very often when I'm talking to the media, they're sort of like, what's new? And I'm like, well, actually, what's new is the mindset of the market. Yeah. The market is actually disrupting commercial real estate, and the ability for landlords to just have a set and forget mentality in terms of owning a big asset and signing up 5 and 10 year leases to large corporates and just doing nothing. Is changing, and I think that that's partly because of the gig economy. It's partly because there are more options out there, and I think it's because even employers are looking at creative ways to employ people and have people work and improve productivity.
Now, technology, new work structures and practices all now enable people to be no longer chained to their same desk day in, day out, or even city, or even region. I mean, it's all on demand now. So how is Servcorp addressing this new 21st century requirement?
Well, I mean, I think Servcorp addresses it and has been ready to address it more than anybody else in the real estate business, because for a long time we've been building our business as a platform. We've been building our businesses as one technology organism that you can basically use no matter where you are, and in an identical fashion. That's sort of been our focus, because we've seen that this time is going to come for a really long time, and so we don't have we have a different view from many of the operators that are out there at the moment, that it's all about this space that you walk into and the sort of collegiate atmosphere that's created there. We think what makes businesses successful is the ability to enter any market at any time on demand, and the ability to have people who are going to help you, people who speak the language and speak your language as well, people who and also then a great technology platform that is exactly what you'd experience whether you're in your home city or any other city. So we've built this platform that really enables businesses to scale. And we've been doing that for a really long period of time. And we have many clients who are virtual office clients of ours who don't actually rent any space from us in those locations, but they have been able to expand their business into new markets with a very light footprint, enabling them to build revenue before they start encountering, those heavy costs of rent and people.
Now, at Servcorp, I believe that you actually rent out space in some of the most iconic office buildings around the world. And by that, I mean the One World Trade Center in New York City, the Etihad Towers in Abu Dhabi, and Louis Vuitton's headquarters in Paris, to name but a few. I mean, am I right in saying that a private office at World Trade Center in Manhattan, for example, goes for as little as $1,000 a month, and a virtual office package is $500? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So you can, actually, our virtual office starts at $200, and you can actually get a co-working desk 24 hours a day from $500 a month. So it's pretty inexpensive to get access to these amazing addresses. And that's what ever since Servcorp was founded, that's been the philosophy behind how Servcorp works. Because we were founded in 1978 by my father, actually, and he was looking to start a property startup, actually, a property business, and he couldn't find a great address that he could afford in his fledgling business. He thought, if I share the cost of the rent and the people, then I'll be able to have a great address, and I'll be able to still afford to run my business. So that's been that was the founding philosophy of our business, and now today, particularly with so many startups and small businesses and businesses, going into new markets because the technology enables them to, it still rings true.
So if you're a young startup that wants to be taken seriously in a crowded market, that kind of address must be much cooler than a cliched warehouse with ping pong tables and coloured beanbags, right?
Absolutely, and that's what we're really focused on. I mean, we want to deliver to our clients what is going to sell more product for them. And we know that what makes small businesses successful is increasing your sales. We know that if your telephone gets answered by a human, as in a receptionist, that every single Servcorp client gets, then you're going to make more sales. We know that if you've got a recognizable local address, and particularly an iconic address like One World Trade Center or the Seagram Building in New York or the Cheese Grater in London, you're actually going to sell more stuff. It's just a fact of life that if you've got a recognizable local address, then people will have trust. And part of the sales process is building trust with your clients. So it really does help to do that. And then also having local people with the local language or the local accent even on the ground makes a really big difference. And so those three things, being locations, technology, and people, are the things that we think make small businesses successful. And we've got a great track record of over 40 years of helping people to be more successful.
So just to help the listeners understand the different options available, who are unfamiliar with some of the terms that we've been talking about, can you tell me more about co-working spaces and virtual offices, along with what is typically best suited to each person?
Yeah, sure. Let me describe the ecosystem, I guess, as it goes from the starting point. So if you're working from home and you've got an idea and you've got a product that you want to sell, it doesn't matter whether you're selling it online or whether it's a physical product that you want to sell, or services that you want to sell. The biggest thing that kills small businesses, particularly like super micro fledgling businesses, is rent and people. And people want to have they want to feel like they're building something, and so very often they'll go and sign a lease that is probably going to be more investment than they need to contribute. So having a virtual office is a great starting point. I think every startup business, every fledgling micro business should have a virtual office as they start, because it gives you that recognizable address. It gives you access to meeting rooms and things like that, so you can walk in and use the space, and it gives you access to people that are on demand, as well as a great technology platform that can also help your sales. So that's sort of the starting point, and mostly for people working from home, and that starts across the US. It starts and in fact across the world, you can pretty much sign up for a virtual anywhere in Servcorp for under $200. And then we have co-working. Now, co-working is more about when you're getting to that next level. You need a place to meet your clients. You need a place to go in and meet other people. And actually, people still hate their husbands and wives, so they want to get out of the house. So you need a place to actually go and sit and work and think. And so we have co-working as well. So it's about $500 a month, and you've got a desk that you can go to, and you've got 24/7 access to that, and you get access to all of the Servcorp infrastructure as well, like amazing internet access and things like that. But it's about building a little bit of a community. It's about working with like-minded people, and you might find your next deal doing that, or you might find a financier doing that in a Servcorp office. And then when your business is really running and you're really ready to take yourself seriously, then you can sign up for a Servcorp office, and they start at $1,000 and go up to $10,000 depending on what you want and how good you want your views to be of Manhattan or whichever city you happen to be in. And so that's the ecosystem. And we see different sorts of clients go for those three different products. But what we really love to see is when somebody starts with a virtual office with us, just with their idea, and when they grow into co-working, and when they start to become part of the Servcorp community, and then they grow into an office, and that's what we really see. And in fact, even more than that, we love to see them grow into an office and grow into more space in Servcorp, and then we love to see them grow and take their own space and become household names. And there are Servcorp clients who have done that.
So who are your typical clients, and how are they making most of the flexibility that your company offers? Because from what you've said there, it sounds like it's quite a wide range, and those people seem to be making, being around like-minded people really seems to be doing them good too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that certainly the infrastructure and people and locations, we think are the things that make your business successful. But I think that, we always say that it's fun or profit, and basically, we say you've got to be in business for fun or profit, and the community certainly makes it fun. And if you're profitable, then that's pretty helpful. So if you can get both of those things, then it's pretty terrific. But I mean, our clients predominantly in our office space have historically been branch offices of multinational companies. We also have a lot of hedge funds, financial services, professional services, management consultants, advertising. A lot of those businesses are our office clients. But for our virtual clients, I mean, it is a very, very, very broad range of small businesses who recognize the importance of how they want to position their brand as they start their business. And that's what it's all about.
So you have office space in countries all over the world, but I'm curious, how does each office reflect the decor and taste of that region? Or do you have like a uniform approach where an office in, let's say, Paris or New York will look exactly the same to provide a certain element of familiarity?
Well, it's a very, very standard template. And so we have exactly the same fit out on every single floor that we have everywhere in the world. And the unique touches that we bring to that are obviously the human element, so the team, And also we also have we try to buy local art. In Servcorp locations, we always have original artworks, and we don't go with these sort of officey print things. So we try and find young and upcoming artists in those regions, and that's what makes the feel of the floor unique. But otherwise, everything you experience in a Servcorp floor right around the world is identical.
Now, you've been doing this for a long time now, and it seems that the rest of the world are finally waking up to your way of doing things. But do you think the days where an office worker sits in the same seat at the same desk every day, Monday to Friday, 9 till 5, will soon be a thing of the past? And is that such a bad thing when a colleague could now be on the other side of the world and greater collaboration is the new currency?
Yeah, look, I don't think it'll disappear altogether.
Yeah,
it's really about finding the right balance. Yeah. And there's this sort of pendulum that swings from everybody being absolutely flexible and everybody working from home to everybody having to be in the office. And we've seen this in the media around Yahoo and Google and HP, and some of these places have or IBM have sort of reversed their let everybody work from home thing. Look, at the end of the day, you need, I guess, a sun that your galaxy revolves around in terms of the infrastructure that you need for your team to be able to work collaboratively. And then there needs to be a good mix of office space that's open space for collaboration and then private space for doing work that just needs private space. And so I think that what you're seeing is this pendulum swinging backwards and forwards until it finds an equilibrium, and I think that the companies that find that will find they get great productivity out of their people, and Servcorp really strive to build that, and we continually evolve and change and are improving the product so that we can deliver that as best as possible. Now, I do believe that fixed 9 to 5 office job mentality is fundamentally changing.
Yeah.
And I do think that flexibility will be more and more a feature of the relationship between people who inhabit commercial buildings and their landlords. And I think that is going to be a real disruption in commercial real estate. And we've seen the start of that with companies like WeWork looking at how they can really disrupt that fixed rental commercial model. And I think we're going to see more and more of that. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a mix between people who needs that stability and need the infrastructure and those who can work around that in a more flexible way. And there's going to be a balance of both those things to maximise productivity.
Absolutely. I think that balance is key to absolutely everything. So a big thank you for coming on today. But before I let you go, can you remind the listeners of your website details and where they can find out any additional information about any of the topics we've talked about today?
Sure. You can find Servcorp at www.servcorp.com. That's servcorp.com. And otherwise you can just search us on Google and you'll find us.
Excellent. Well, again, thanks for coming on. Like I say, I love what you're doing there, and I also love the fact that you've been kind of doing this and had this mindset for years, and the rest of the world is just suddenly jumping on board. And I love that transition that you guys have been through. So thanks again for coming on.
Thank you very much.
Marcus told the New York Business Journal in March, "We believe that not everyone wants to come into work in their shorts, ride their scooter to work, play ping pong, and have beers at lunch. And there will certainly be a demand for premium product in flexible space with a high level of service and infrastructure." And I think this is a great point. And for a serious startup to have the ability to have space in some of the most iconic office buildings around the world, whether that be One World Trade Center in New York, Etihad Towers in Abu Dhabi, or Louis Vuitton's headquarters in Paris, it would speak volumes about their company. And it's also interesting that although technology has enabled us to work from home now, it's actually surrounding ourselves with like-minded souls that stimulate us and help us improve that where the real value is. And it also seems that companies like Servcorp are providing these environments all over the world, and they're actually increasing collaboration. But at the same time, it's great to hear Marcus say how he loves seeing people progress and grow through their office space too. Maybe we shouldn't be too surprised to learn that a collaborative environment is healthier for us all than actually sat watching Netflix while working away on our laptop. So a big thank you for Marcus for sharing his story today.
If you enjoyed today's show, why not leave a rating or review on whatever platform you listen to the Tech Blog Writer podcast. More reviews really help bring more listeners to the show, which makes it easier to get even better guests to share tech stories that offer value rather than hype.
I'm passionate about getting as many startup and tech stories on the show from all over the world. This week alone, we have guests from China, Madrid, Estonia and the States. This is something that makes me quite proud of the show. We all have a global mindset now, and it's amazing to have listeners in so many different countries. So if you do have a few moments, please leave a review of the show and help spread the word about these fantastic stories that we're getting to hear on a nightly basis at the moment. And I hope they're providing you as much value as they do me. So a big thank you for letting me borrow your ears for another half an hour this evening. But it's time for me to go now, and all that's left for me to say is, until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.